What's up, guys? I'm LQ. This is the LQ Review. Thank you so much for joining me here at my YouTube channel. Right now, I want to talk about this week's episode of Survivor Season 45. And I've been saying it all along, this is the best season of Survivor since Winners at War, and I still very much stand by that. This is moving up the ranks, though. This season of Survivor is just... forget since Winners at War. This is just a good season of Survivor. I didn't review last week's episode. I just got too busy and couldn't do it. Bruce being voted out, though, definitely kind of changed the feel of the game. It changed a little bit of the dynamic of the game. And I felt that Bruce getting voted out, I wasn't really a big Bruce fan in the first place, but I felt that him getting voted out allowed us to really get to spend more time on the other characters in this show. And there's some very good, very dynamic characters in this show. And Emily has clearly been building her resume, and we saw, I'll get to Emily in a minute, we saw where that got her. I very much like Jake, though. Jake is my favorite player right now. He's the guy that I hope he wins. I think that he plays with a lot of passion. You can tell that he really cares a lot about the game. And you can tell that he has this gruff exterior where he puts up walls to protect himself, but you can tell that he's a very empathetic person, and he definitely cares about what other people think of him. You know, he's somebody that wants to be liked by others. And I do very much like him, but he does have that, like I said, that kind of gruff exterior. Mama J, Julie, I think she's kind of the villain of this season now. I think Emily's the best player this season. And yeah, she's voted out. She's gone. Still think she was the best player this season. The best players don't always win Survivor. Sometimes the best players get voted out because they're the best players. And I'm really sad to see her go. She was my favorite. She was the one that I hoped was going to win. Now that she's gone, obviously that's shifted over to Jake. But yeah, she's someone who definitely had a great character arc. She definitely changed a lot playing this game. She talked about it a little bit in this episode. And I enjoyed watching her arc, but I also just enjoyed watching her play Survivor. I thought she had a very strategic mind, and I thought that she was someone who, like I said, was just good at the game. I think that obviously, looking back on it, hindsight's 2020, I think obviously it was a mistake that she didn't take the chance for immunity. I was afraid that was going to come back and bite her. But yeah, best player in the game doesn't win. That happens in Survivor. I get it. I'm not someone who's like, oh, Survivor, there's problems with the game because the best player doesn't always win. No, that's just the way it goes sometimes. Just the way it goes sometimes. Sometimes the underdogs win. You know, the best team doesn't always win the World Series. The best team doesn't always win the Super Bowl. That's just the way it goes. So yeah, sad to see her go, but, you know, I'm Team Jake now. I always get a little bored with showmances, and we're seeing kind of a showmance start up here. They're kind of letting us peek into this showmance late into the season. So I'm wondering if, number one, did it just come about? Or number two, is it going to play a role later in the season, or, you know, as we get here towards the end? Is the showmance going to play a role? And you can tell it kind of played a role a little bit in this episode, but not really. Yeah, so guys, like I said, this is the best season of Survivor we've had in a long time. After Winners at War, Jeff and CBS made the big announcement, you know, we are going to be very concerned about the DEI score. You know, we're going to make sure that we have diversity and inclusion, and everybody's going to be represented. And I think that when they first did that, CBS overcorrected. The show became about that. And you see that happening a lot in Hollywood, where they want to have diversity, they want to have inclusion, and that's, like I said, representation matters. It is something to be separated. It is something to be celebrated, but that can't be the only goal you have. And you see that a lot in Hollywood. It's like, okay, first things first. Before we start worrying about story, we're going to worry about making sure we have diversity. That can't be the number one concern. The number one concern is story. And then you can worry about diversity. Hollywood hasn't gotten it yet. It seems like Survivor might be getting that. Because this season, like I said, 41, 42, 43, it was about that. And it got exhausting. And now, it's not about that, but it's in there. And it's in there more organically. And there's less eye rolling because of it. There's less cringe because of it. There's less thinking that that's all that the producers care about. No, clearly they care about the gameplay in this season. So kudos to Jeff and CBS for getting it right this season. And I hope that they get feedback that this is a good season. Because, like I said, they're doing it right. So, great season of Survivor. Very anxious to see how the last couple episodes play out. Sad to see Emily go. I'm on Team Jake now. So, what did you guys think about this week's episode of Survivor? Let me know in the comments below.